So I have finished Ubik. Also, these Mariner books, there's like a grippiness to them that I kind of enjoy. So now I have to change the previous book I read of Philip K. Dick's. So then they'll all match, because that'll be nice. Anyway, leaving the sidestep. I enjoyed it. It was a fun book. It took a minute for me to get going. I think it's a me problem and not a Philip K. Dick problem. The style took a little bit to get into, so it kind of felt stumbly there in the beginning. He always makes me work for his stories, because I know it was trying there in the beginning for me, but it was like the same with his other book too. Like I had to just kind of keep going, and then it starts getting going. But also he just drops you right in, and there's words and phrases that you have no idea what the hell. I even had to look up Ubik because I was already like 40 pages in. I'm like, what the hell? Like each chapter starts with a commercial for Ubik, and it's for something completely different. And you're like, what is this thing? And so I had to look it up. And even with the definition available, it was vague enough to where like you still don't really know until you get to the end of the book. And then that part makes sense. But it was fun. You know, it takes place in a world where you have to pay to use all the things, even if it's in your own house. You know, the coffee pot is 5 cents, and then the coffee is however much, and to leave your front door is however much, and to come back in is like everything costs money to do. Apparently there is a place where everything is included and you can just kind of use the stuff, but otherwise, yeah, you have to pay for everything. So that was an interesting thing, but it's fun. It follows this guy named Chip. What the hell is his last name? It is not on the back. Chip. Oh, haha, Joe Chip. Haha. That was his last name. Okay. Anyways, we're following him for the most part of the book. In this world, there are kind of like psychics, but it's like each person has like their own kind of angle from it. And so people will hire them to, you know, spy on other companies, and then the companies then have to hire like anti-psychics to block the minds of the psychics that they think are trying to infiltrate the company. So it's like this whole weird psychic, I don't want to say war because it's not, but maybe it is. War might be applicable. Any case, yeah, so you're following this guy and his boss, Runkter? There's a T in there, Runkter. And they're trying to, you know, they get this job, and they have like them and like 11 others go do this job, and there's an explosion. And that's actually where the story really actually starts. And even though like they just have like this new hire kind of who can do something like even crazier than what they were aware that was already capable. So they've hired her, and they bring her along too. And it just becomes this whole like thriller mystery and death. But it's fun. I don't know. Yeah. Also in this world is half-lives. And if you have enough money, or if someone you know has enough money, and you're not quite dead yet, like if there's still a little bit of life left in you, they can kind of put you in this like cryo freeze, where they can kind of keep you alive for as long as possible. And then whenever you want to talk to that person, they pull you out and you can kind of talk to them kind of telepathically with a phone. So like if you have questions about something, you can ask them, or if you just want to talk about your day, you can do that. So yeah, it brings, so that's why I'm saying, death is involved, because, you can talk to your dead relatives or your dead wife or your dead friend or whatever. And, it talks about, it brings up little tidbits from different places, like the Tibetan Book of the Dead and Winnie the Pooh. And because I had forgotten until it like brought it into the mix. I was like, oh, yeah, that's not really a happy story. I had forgotten. And then also, little quotes from other books and stuff, like Shirley Jackson's Haunting of Hill House. Well, hello, little one. But anyways, so with this, and each time so you're going along the story, and each time you get more information about what's going on or what is believed to be going on, so you keep kind of adjusting your theory on what is happening. So you get to the end, or I got to the end, and I was partially right, because you can't be like fully right. That would just be weird. But I was partially right, like mostly right. And then, but it was done in such a way where I closed the book and I was still happy that I read it, because it's just, it wraps it up nicely, and it was just fun anyway. And so it's a good read. I would recommend it, especially if you're into science fiction stuff. Definitely a good addition to, holy crap, definitely a good addition to your reads. I will see you next time.